Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of in relation to some of my other videos. I've had people come to me and say, well, Seb, what happens when, you talked about differing opinions, you've talked always about discussing things with people, about having discourse, about sharing stories, about whatever else, you know, but what happens when that person just won't acknowledge the foundation of fact as the solid base for the conversation? What happens when they won't accept the anecdote that I'm putting forward when it's a true to life account? What happens when the anecdotal side of things is being taken as something far more solid than the quantitative side of things, whereby like the actual fact and proof of the big picture is being ignored in favor of a small number of stories and discussions and feelings that have come out. What happens when those people that we're talking with aren't playing ball, and they're just stuck in their little bubble and their little echo chambers, and they're not able to actually engage outside of that anymore? And I go, firstly, there's a very sad state of affairs. It really is, because it's something that's happening more and more, and I'm seeing it more and more and more. And it's like people closing themselves off because, oh, so and so said a thing that's bad and I disagree with it. It's not like he was inciting hatred and violence towards people, but he said something that made me feel bad, and so I decided that he was the worst person on the planet and needed to shrug him off. Or, oh, she voted for Trump, and so therefore I can't possibly in any way interact with her at all ever again. All of those things. It's kind of sad, because it just creates further divisions, and it just causes people to run away from each other. But what I have to say in regards to this is ultimately, and it's something I've said before, you can't medicate a corpse, so don't bother. The analogy being that medicine that you're pumping into an already dead body, something that's gone to you, that medicine could go on to help someone else that actually needs it more, who's still alive, who's still looking to survive. And so what it comes down to is, if those people really won't interact, won't play ball with the discussion, then what it comes down to is you need to cut those people loose to a degree. I'm not necessarily saying completely stop interacting with them, but just don't bother bringing up the topic. Don't bother even trying to share the knowledge, share the information, or deal with them in any way regarding to it. It's an unfortunate situation, but there it is. And so what it comes down to, though, in a grander scheme, though, is if that person is one of these individuals that just takes your silence as victory, and so they will continue to bring it up and expect you to either fight back or be silent, trying to taunt you with it and push your buttons. Firstly, no one pushes your buttons but you, don't let them. But also then, they're obviously not being a particularly good colleague or friend or whatever else, and so, there's a good chance that the best option is just to move away from that person. As said, if you're done medicating a corpse, you wouldn't go and hang out with it in the morgue whilst it sits there and rots. You'd stick it in a drawer, stick it in a chiller, and you'd move away. You'd leave it alone. You'd put it in the ground in a grave, or you'd incinerate it and let it blow off into the wind. That's the way it would ultimately break down. There's no real other way to look at it. And so, when I say stop medicating the corpses, I mean it. Take on the role of the doctor in this situation with the life-saving medicine. Do you look at the corpse that's next to you and waste it on the corpse? Or do you move off into a different ward and see if there's someone there that can actually use it to survive longer, to save them from whatever it is that's ailing them? Simply put, it's not worth your time and it's not worth your energy, because life is far too short and these people are far too few to really warrant any decent response. you know, in regards to this. Try and mitigate their effects. Try and move them away from the things that are surviving and that are managing well, you know. But after a while, corpses tend to start kind of breaking down, and they become breeding grounds for various other diseases and things. You wouldn't want to leave that in a ward amongst the other people who are trying to survive and who are trying to keep themselves healthy. But those are my thoughts on that. You know, what do you guys think? Please let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you found this analogy to a degree at all useful or interesting, then please drop me a like, and otherwise please subscribe for more, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care, guys.